O'Grady's the name.
Marlowe, O'Grady, what difference does it make? It'll be McGee in a week anyway.
Rosie O'Grady knows me.
Everybody could use a little Complan sometime.
Let me tell you why you should insist on national aluminium windows. You can choose from an unbeatable range of styles and finishes, and every window is specially designed for your home. The marvellous thing is, 1 or 2 days and the job's done. Plus your deposit is 100% bonded.
National Aluminium. Windows of a lifetime.
National Aluminium, Ireland's #1 for choice, style and service.
This is a warning to people with nice, shiny plastic baths. Some cream cleaners contain harsh abrasives which damage the shine. To prove our point, we're going to clean one of these plastic lenses with an abrasive cream cleaner and the other with a solution of flash. Whatever happens to these plastic lenses will eventually happen to the surface of your plastic bath. See what harsh abrasives do to plastic? Now you can see why most people who make plastic baths recommend Flash, the all-shine, no-scratch cleaner.
Chocolate,
Maltesers.
Chocolate,
Maltesers.
so light. Smooth milk chocolate with the honeycomb center, crisp and float away light. Chocolate,
Maltesers.
so light, the lighter way to enjoy chocolate.
AP75 for everything in the home that squeaks, jams, rusts. AP75 protects, lubricates, loosens. You could win £125,000 in the Irish sweep. Closing date extended to October the 3rd. Permanent safety while your savings grow. The Irish Permanent pays 8.25%, standard rate tax paid. Buy a Ferguson TX 18, 20, 22 or 26-inch television. Get a free rally bike. Lisotowel Races wish to thank their many patrons and friends for ensuring another successful meeting.
The feelings and attitudes of some 90 Trappist monks in the community of St. Joseph's Abbey, Spencer, Massachusetts, are revealed in the Monastery at 6:15 on RTE1, while on 2, Ripley's Believe It or Not, introduced by Jack Palance, is at 6:10.
There has been a mass breakout of prisoners from the Maze prison near Belfast.
It happened less than 2 hours ago, and full details are not yet available. A statement from the RUC says that a number of cars were hijacked near the prison and that some people have been injured. The RUC refused to confirm the number of escapers, but it is believed to be about 20. It's not known whether they are Republican or Loyalist. There have been reports of shooting in the area of the prison, and early reports say that some of the escapers are armed. The Taoiseach has said that there will be public expenditure cuts of £500 million in next year's budget, and some very tough decisions will have to be made. Dr. Fitzgerald was speaking on the RTE radio programme this week.
When you allow for the fact that we have to provide for the admittedly smaller pay increase in the public service running into next year that we've agreed, much to the burden of which will fall next year, we have to provide for the increased debt service for all the borrowings this year, and we have to provide, obviously, to maintain the standard of living of the old age pensioners and widows and others in receipt of social welfare. When you allow for those things, and for the fact that we must have some reduction in borrowing, some reduction in the current deficit, there's a gap of about £500 million to be bridged, which can't be bridged by increased taxation. It can only be bridged by reducing expenditure. Now, you can't reduce expenditure by the order of £500 million in a small country like this without having to take some very tough decisions.
On the same programme, Dr. Fitzgerald accused some semi-state companies of playing games and behaving as if they were interested only in their own survival. He said they put forward plans and proposed cuts they knew would affect politicians in different constituencies. But this sort of comical exercise, he said, would receive very short answer from the government. On the Cherryville rail inquiry, the Taoiseach said he was completely satisfied with the action of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Normal procedures had been followed by everyone concerned, he said. Abroad now, and a ceasefire agreement between the warring factions in Lebanon is expected to be announced later this evening. Informed sources in the Syrian capital, Damascus, say the announcement will be made at a news conference to be given by the Syrian Foreign Minister and the Saudi Arabian mediator, Prince Bandar. As fighting continued in southern Beirut, the plans for a ceasefire had been deadlocked for several days because President Gemayel has been resisting a Syrian demand that he agreed to be bound to implement any decisions taken at a national reconciliation conference. The president would be excluded from such a conference according to the Syrian demands. America's World War II battleship, the New Jersey, joined 14 other warships of the 6th Fleet off the coast of Lebanon today. The arrival of the battleship more than triples the firepower of big guns available to American Marine commanders in the area. The New Jersey was built in 1943 and served in the Pacific in World War II. It was later in action in the Korean and Vietnam Wars. It was mothballed several times and was extensively modified before being recommissioned at the end of last year. The Prime Minister of Zimbabwe, Mr. Robert Mugabe, has accused Britain of interfering in the internal affairs of his country. Mr. Mugabe said that he appreciated the financial aid that Britain was giving to his country, but he was prepared to lose it rather than allow interference in internal affairs. Mr. Mugabe was speaking in Harare after his return home from visits to Ireland, the United States and Canada. He said that Britain had tried to lobby all three countries on behalf of the Air Force officers detained in Zimbabwe after being cleared by courts on terrorist charges. Mr. Mugabe said that this was a very undesirable development. In Davao, in the southern Philippines, 15 people were killed when a hand grenade was thrown into a crowd. The grenade was thrown as 2,000 people were attending an open-air beauty contest and a carnival. Police say several suspected members of the outlawed Communist Party were arrested after the attack. Troops remain on the alert following intelligence reports that there could be further attacks. Nearly 250 people were injured, including a number of children. The former Taoiseach, Mr. Jack Lynch, said today that the Civil War had taught us the futility of violence as a means of securing the reunification of our people. He was speaking at a seminar organised by the Friends of Michael Collins in Mulranny, County Mayo. Mr. Lynch said the great majority of those who were together in the War of Independence and who opposed each other in the civil conflict came to one common conclusion in the pursuit of their mutual aim, that violence would never achieve it. And he said this had been the view of the vast majority of the people of the 26 counties. The only enduring solution would be based on the coming together of the people of this island in peace and reconciliation. We know, he said, that we cannot force unity, and we don't wish to do so. Those in Northern Ireland whose aspirations are opposed to ours would be entitled to our respect and understanding. Our aim must not be to try to remake others in our image, but to welcome their traditions in an Ireland of which we are all citizens. The body of an 18-year-old girl was found strangled and raped in a laneway in Dublin at midday. Her body was discovered naked except for a dress around her lower legs in a laneway off Kirwan Street, which is near Manor Street. Murder Squad detectives are investigating the incident. Abroad again, President Nimeri of Sudan presided at a ceremony in Khartoum to mark the banning of alcohol drinking in the state. The ban is part of a campaign to restore the strict observance of Islamic law, and it was inaugurated by the dumping of beer and spirits worth $5 million into the River Nile. President Nimeri has also ordered the release of all prisoners in the country's jails, including those awaiting execution, as they had been sentenced under a non-Islamic penal code. We're back home again. Sports News tonight, Fintan Drury.
Well, 4 All-Ireland titles were decided today, and Cork supporters had plenty of cause to celebrate after their teams completed a hat-trick. Cork had a 2-point winning margin in all 3 finals. Maurice Fitzgibbon had a dramatic late goal as the junior hurlers beat Galway in a thriller and stopped the Westerners' bid for a hurling treble. Claire Kelleher scored a great goal for the senior camogie team as they completed a double over Dublin at Croke Park. Mary Ring, daughter of the legendary Christie, was a member of the victorious Cork junior team. In football, Kerry beat Dublin in the junior final replay with Jackie Walsh's first half goal the decisive score. Derry and Mayo qualified for the All-Ireland Under-21 football final. Now for a check on the scorelines. The All-Ireland Championships junior football final replay. Kerry 1-8, Dublin 5 points. The junior hurling final, Cork 3-14, Galway 2-15. The Under-21 football's semi-final. Mayo 3-6, Kerry 7 points. Derry 11 points, Kildare 1-6. And camogie, the All-Ireland senior final, Cork 2-5, Dublin 1-6. The All-Ireland junior final, Cork 2-5, Dublin 2-3. Soccer and the final matches in the qualifying rounds for the League Cup semi-finals were played today. Drogheda United, Athlone, Galway United and Bohemians all came through. Here are the results. Athlone Town 5, Finn Harps 3. Drogheda United 5, Home Farm 0. Galway United 2, Waterford United 1. St Patrick's Athletic 0, Bohemians 1. Shelburne 3, Dundalk 0. Sligo Rovers 2, Longford Town 2. And UCD 0, Shamrock Rovers 1. Golf and the Bob Hope Classic at Moore Park is shaping up to a tremendous climax, with the lead seesawing dramatically and still 6 players are very much in contention. Jose Maria Canizares is leading after a 66 today for a 19 under par total. David Faherty is 16 under with Bernhard Langer and Michael King in close pursuit, 1 shot further back and on the 17th. Gary Cullen and Bob Charles are in the clubhouse on 15 under. With Faherty still in contention for first place, the other Irish scores today were Ronan Rafferty 70 for an 8 under par total, John O'Leary 72, Christy O'Connor Jr. 71 and Damon Darcy 70, all finished 7 under. Des Smith finished 3 under after a 71, David Jones 2 under after a par 72 and Eddie Polland 11 over after a 75. Motorsport and Nelson Piquet of Brazil won the European Grand Prix at Brands Hatch today to set the scene for a tremendous showdown in the final event of the World Championship season, next month's South African Grand Prix. Alain Prost was second today and still leads the World Championship table with 57 points to Piquet's 55. René Arnoux is also still in contention with 49 points, even though he failed to score today. Well, that's it from sport for now, except to remind you that we'll be back again on RTE1 later tonight with the final programme in the Sunday Game Series. The programme, which starts at 10:15, will be reviewing the hurling and football championship campaigns. So make a date to join us then at 10:15 tonight. So.
Thank you, Fintan. The weather now. Clear spells at first this evening, mist and fog becoming widespread inland overnight, and coastal fog persisting in the south. There has been a prison breakout at the Maze near Belfast. It happened shortly after 4 o'clock, and it's believed 20 men escaped. The RUC said a number of cars had been hijacked and some people injured. It's not known if the men who got away are Loyalist or Republican prisoners. Some of them are thought to have guns, and there are reports of shooting in the area. The Taoiseach has said there will be cuts of £500 million in public expenditure in next year's budget, and some very tough decisions will have to be made. Dr. Fitzgerald also said he was completely satisfied with the action of the Director of Public Prosecutions in the Cherryville rail inquiry. He said normal procedures had been followed by everyone concerned, and there were no grounds for public concern. The United States has announced that agreement has been reached on a ceasefire in the mountain war outside the Lebanese capital Beirut. The truce would end 3 weeks of fighting. The former Taoiseach, Mr. Jack Lynch, said today, "The Civil War had taught us the futility of violence as a means of securing the reunification of our people." Speaking at Mulranny, County Mayo, he said the only enduring solution would be based on the coming together of the people of this island in peace and reconciliation. Newark is on RT2 at 7:34 this evening. Main news on RT1 is at 1 minute past 9. I leave you now with the weather chart.
A new cleaner from Hoover. It's got a huge bag and a big motor. You may be surprised to see how big it is. Or isn't. And the price isn't exactly big either. The new Compact. Big in everything but size and price. From Hoover. Who better?
Men just can't help acting on impulse. It's an all-over perfume body spray with an irresistible fragrance and the reassurance of an effective deodorant. So when a man you've never met before suddenly gives you flowers, that's impulse.
Oh, you're back.
See, you haven't opened any of the bills today.
I didn't want to deprive you of the pleasure.
Hey, that smells good. Are you sure we can afford it?
Probably not. But at least cooking with Calor Kosangas means there are no large bills to give you heart failure.
That's true. In fact, Calor Kosangas is one of the few things that is still great value.
Great value, great cooking, that's what they all say. Go see a Calor dealer right away.
So many men today are all for taking more care of themselves, getting in a spot of light exercise, taking more care about what they eat and drink. That's why more and more men are turning to Flora Margarine. Flora's made with pure sunflower oil, an oil so light, so delicate, it wouldn't even stop a watch. High in polyunsaturates, low in cholesterol. Spread a little healthiness with Flora.
Well, it comes on slow, and then begins to grow. It's got me in the mood. It's so rich and smooth. Don't fight it. Don't fight it. Fight it. Taste the way that it's gonna be. The dairy milk chocolate from Cadbury. Don't fight it. Fight it. Cadbury's Whole Nut. Don't fight it. Fight it.
This elegant wine glass free with every £12 cash of Shell petrol at participating stations.
Portland Fashion, Portland Comfort, Portland Fit. Buy Portland in your shoe store now.
End the menace of rats and mice now with Ratak from ICI.
Join the moneymakers. Join the Irish Nationwide Building Society.
Oh, you're back.
See, you haven't opened any of the bills today.
I didn't want to deprive you of the pleasure.
Hey, that smells good. Are you sure we can afford it?
Probably not. But at least cooking with Calor Kosangas means there are no large bills to give you heart failure.
That's true. In fact, Calor Kosangas is one of the few things that is still great value.
Great value, great cooking, that's what they all say. Go see a Calor dealer right away.
Hello again. A reminder that the Sunday film on RTE 2 at 20 to 8 this evening is Gone with the Wind, starring Clark Gable and Vivian Lee. Here on 1 now, the Trappist monks of St. Joseph's Abbey, Massachusetts, are the subjects of the Monastery.